live. All right. Episode 82 of the On the Hunt podcast. I don't know how much y'all heard of what we were talking about before, but this show is brought to you by the great word out there, milk. That's right. So
No.
we are on episode 82 of the On the Hunt podcast. I'm Elijah Winfrey. Joining me tonight, we got the number one Lions fan, Mr. Bobby Bless. We also have got Nate Rucker on the broadcast with us. And in spirit with us is Reggie Funches. I can't wait to get Reggie Funches back on the program. We miss him. We miss Reggie. Reggie greatly, his analysis, his numbers, all that. So Reggie, if you're watching this later, man, we love you. And I can't wait for you to get back on the show with us as soon as possible. Want to kick it over to Bobby Bless here, who's going to tell us how 20 minutes can change your life. Bobby, go ahead.
No, I'm not going to even have that conversation with you, with these folks that I had with you earlier. But yeah, you just work efficiently is the goal. But as far as the Detroit Lions, life is good. I was just telling a friend earlier that this is the Detroit Lions team we all dreamed of, man. And it's just fun. It's just more exciting to see how they prove people wrong week by week. And now we hear about us all the time. We're probably gonna talk about it a little bit as we go on the show. How much they hate on Dan Campbell. That is fucking crazy to me. But everything else, life as a Detroit Lions fan is lovely. How about you, Nate? What's up, brother?
Hey, it's a great day, but my show today is sponsored by 3 words.
Oh, God. He can't even say it. What?
BBH.
BBH.
Big.
No.
What do you mean, Nate? I'm scared.
What is it? Oh, I know. Bros before hoes. That's what you're trying to
Bros
say.
before
shit.
hoes.
I'm over here thinking big and then something else. Like I'm on the wrong.
Yeah, man. Your
I'm on
head
the
in the
wrong
gutter
website.
like a motherfucker, boy.
Wrong website.
No, this talking shit.
Oh, man.
But no, well, like you say, man, like as a Lions fan, man, life is good. You know, we gonna Dan Campbell continue to prove everybody wrong, and everybody now. First they laughed at him, now then they loved him. Now everybody criticizing. This is just a reminder to people that hey, Jesus is friends with Judas. It don't matter what you do. Somebody's always going to dislike it. So in your life, always move accordingly to your steps. Fuck everybody else. That's word from Motor City Dan Campbell. Move how you move, Dan.
All right. So for my side of things, I just realized the last time we talked was prior to the Thanksgiving game, and it was prior to Georgia Tech, Georgia. So let me just say this right now. My God, what a couple of days that was. Nate, man, I got to give it to you. That was quite possibly the greatest college football game I've ever seen in my life. I remember I kept messaging my dad. You know, me and my dad, we got to a point where it was just him saying, "Oh my God," and me saying, "Oh my God." Because at the end of that thing, I'm like, man, there ain't no fucking losers. Like, I know we're keeping score. I know there is a winner and a loser, technically speaking. I said, but that was a great college football game that lived up to all of the hype I put on it for sure. 8 overtimes, and my boy Haynes King, man, some NFL team is going to be very happy to have his services. And I don't know. I mean, he might come back to Georgia Tech next year. He might try to go to the league. I know they play Vanderbilt for the bowl game, and that'll be kind of interesting because, Diego Pavia had a lot of hype around him. But again, man, you had that Lions Thanksgiving game, which ended with me screaming in my living room. Then you had that Georgia Tech game, which again, screaming in my living room. I was so happy that my landlord went back to Florida because otherwise he probably would have thought something bad was happening in here. But it was just a stressful couple days, but some great football to be had. I did not catch the Michigan-Ohio State game, but from everything I heard, that was also a great game as well. So again, lots of great football between the last time we spoke and now. And as far as the Lions are concerned, a couple victories, obviously, beating the Bears, beating the Packers. Now we got the Bills. And I got to tell y'all, as we start that conversation about the Bills and the Lions, this is one that means a lot in my area because the Buffalo Bills are the favorite team, in my area, and for folks who don't know, again, I live in upstate New York. So we don't consider the Giants or the Jets New York teams because they play in New Jersey. And if I called them the New York Jets or New York Giants, I get phone calls at the radio station. But people up here, they love the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, everybody up here knows I love the Detroit Lions. So my radio station, it's a little hectic this week. But I'm looking forward to that 4:25 kickoff. I said it on the radio this morning. I think this is a preview of the Super Bowl. I really do. I think this could be a preview of the Super Bowl. And I realize that Buffalo just lost to the Rams. But as I said on my radio show this morning to Bills Mafia, I said, don't put too much stock in the fact that you lost to the Rams because, one loss doesn't really mean much. I mean, the Lions lost to the Buccaneers, and that's a situation where if we play the Buccaneers 10 times, we beat them 9. They just happened to get us on the one time we didn't beat them. I said, so if the Rams play the Bills 10 times, the Bills annihilate them 9 times. But again, I think it's going to be a really good one. I want to go over to Bobby Bless first. And Bobby, I'll have you toss it to Nate. I want to get your opinions. What are you looking for in this Buffalo-Detroit game? As far as how you think we stack up, what you like, what you're concerned about with Buffalo, give it to me. Bobby, you first.
I just want to double down on what you said at Barry about the Super Bowl matchup. I can't say I always said that, but this is the kind of team we're going to be playing in that Super Bowl. I remember Thanksgiving when we almost beat them, when we was coming together as a team. We were on our way to be the team now that we are now. In that game against Buffalo on Thanksgiving a couple years back, we went toe to toe with them. At the time, we weren't able to consistently do the things what we're doing, but that's a long time ago. These are different Lions. Same event. Only thing I wouldn't even say I'm worried about, but I would just say the obvious elephant in the room to me is this is the matchup between two MVP candidates. Jared Goff doing the things that he do as far as game managing a game. I seen him the other day, or it might have been today, on the Facebook or social media period, saying he's a civilian. He had the hoodie that said he a civilian, because I can't remember which one of them clowns called him a civilian. I think it was Fitzpatrick. But make a long story short, I say that to say, Jared Goff, just you got a chance to show the world you doing what you do, why it makes you an MVP. And as far as Josh Allen, the dude just a superhero. I watched him play against the Rams, and we always like when no matter what the quarterback does in our time in the world, if they don't win, they didn't do something right. The reason why most of these quarterbacks lose, not with Josh Allen against the Rams. He did literally every MF thing he could do to win that game. To be honest with you, I think his defense let him down. He did something that was never done before. 3 touchdowns running, 3 touchdowns passing. It is amazing. So it's kind of like how they used to say with Michael Jordan. You can't stop him. You only hope you can contain him. And that's what we got to do. We can't have him doing superhero plays out of the pocket. I think to me, when he out the pocket, we can't stop him. We got to keep him in the pocket. We got to not give him chances to run. And this ain't Caleb Williams on the sideline playing in or out. This dude, you gonna have to hit this one. You feel me? You gonna have to hit this one. So don't be running up on him like that's a regular quarterback. You got to run up on him like he a tight end, because he will embarrass you and he will fall forward. So that's what I'm more worried about. I'm not worried about his weapons per se, because they really not weapons until they out that pocket, to be honest. Hey, what you think, brother?
I mean, that was my thing. My word is just contain. And you made it, you summed it up. That was my whole point. It's going to be about contain. Meaning you don't have Stephon Diggs anymore. You don't have Davis anymore. All these deep threats and things that you had he doesn't have now. His sole weapon right now, they've been utilizing James Cook in the screen game, the running game, almost like we use Jahmyr Gibbs. But you want to make Josh beat you with his arm because the moment he gets to moving and getting these linebackers moving and getting these throwing lanes, your corners get to stepping up is where we're going to have a problem. But this is also what I like our new additions. Quan Alexander is a very fast linebacker. Jamal Adams, for his lack of coverage, when it comes to hitting quarterbacks and that short area and watching between the line of scrimmage and 10, 15 yards deep, he's good. So that's where I think it's going to come down to. His scrambling he's always going to be a scrambler because that offensive line isn't nothing. So we just got to make sure that when we rush, we're rushing under control and we want to contain him inside that pocket. We want to force him up through the middle, so hopefully that DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil are back so that we're forcing him right into our big guys. That's what we want to make sure we do. We want to force him right into our big guys. And again, we know that Buffalo's going to score points, but we cannot let Josh get 6 touchdowns for himself. We can't. I don't think our defense will, but also we want to make sure that they have to drive the field. You want Buffalo having to go the length of the field. We don't want them getting that bitch on the 30. None of that. We want to make sure that these guys have got to go the length of the field because he lacks those explosive playmakers. He doesn't have them anymore. Like a lot of the guys he got, you're like, okay, who the fuck is this? Who the fuck is this? Who the fuck is this? But Josh is making them players. He's making you have.
But they got to watch out for Cooper though. He ain't no bum.
No. Amari Cooper isn't a bum, but think about it.
No, he's sweet though.
So, but I think Amari Cooper gets the same treatment that Justin Jefferson gets. But the difference about Cooper isn't a burner. So Carlton Davis should be back. Carlton Davis won't have to have double coverage. You don't have to worry about Amari Cooper stretching you deep. Amari Cooper is just a precise route runner, a la Keenan Allen. You know what I mean? So he's not going to beat you that way. You just have to make sure that, hey, you're on your technique and you can minimize Amari Cooper.
Yeah, because he's going to be where he's supposed to be.
Right. You can minimize that. You just have to make sure that you contain Josh because the moment you lose containment and our corners get to coming up to make tackles, he's very mindful of the line of scrimmage. He'll stop and flick that bitch right over your head. And remember, he doesn't have to cock that bitch back. His arm is an elite arm in the league. Matthew Stafford, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Elite arms in this league where it doesn't take much. It's a flick, and you got 60 yards out of it. So we just have to be mindful of that and just, hey, stay contained. Eli.
Okay, so got a lot to say, but I'll try to summarize it. So first of all, Buffalo Bills. Couple players that we need to be mindful of for Buffalo. So Buffalo did, in a way, what we did, which is they got younger. They got younger around Josh Allen. So yes, they invested money in Josh, which meant they couldn't afford to keep Davis. They couldn't afford to keep I'm blanking on the name at the moment, but
they traded Stephon.
But again, they knew, okay, it's coming. We're gonna have some financial issues here because we are giving the bag to our quarterback. So they got younger around Josh. So just because you don't know their name does not mean that they're not dangerous in their own right. So the rookie wide receiver, Keon Coleman, he's a good one. He's a good one. He's been somebody this season. I brought up their stats here. He's been somebody this season who has been dangerous.
Ain't he hurt though?
Coleman, I'm not sure if he's hurt, but
He is.
I think he hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt.
So, but Keon Coleman, he has got 22 receptions for over 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. Shakur is their number 1 wide receiver. He's got over 700 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. You have Dalton Kincaid, who's got close to 400 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. You got Dawson Knox, who's another good one. He's got 200 yards and a touchdown. And you got Amari Cooper, who just got there a couple weeks ago, but is already making an impact. Again, outside of Amari Cooper, all those other guys are young. And the reason why I bring up, Coleman, even if he is injured, I bring up Coleman because I think we play Buffalo twice. So you're going to have to be mindful of him. James Cook. James Cook, I think, is the key to this game. I don't think the key to this game is Josh Allen. I think the key to this game is James Cook. Because when James Cook rushes for over 80 yards, the Buffalo Bills win. He is the missing ingredient that Buffalo has been looking for the last few years. I've been saying it on my radio show every time I talk about the Bills. You need a premier running back. Your quarterback cannot lead your team in rushing and get you where you ultimately want to go. Yes, you'll get in the playoffs. Yes, you'll go deep in the playoffs, but you will not get to the Super Bowl with your quarterback leading you in rushing and having to be Superman all the time. And James Cook, he's done that. He has shown up big. Now, against the Rams, what happened? 6 carries for 20 yards. So Josh Allen had to be Superman last week. So if you can shut down James Cook, we win this game. Other thing, I would love to see Josh Allen on the field for the least amount of time possible, which means we need that offensive line to get nasty again. We need David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs running the ball, running that clock, and us sustaining drives that end in touchdowns. The last 2 weeks has been a little iffy. We drive the field, but then we kick field goals in some moments where I think maybe we should go for the touchdown. So again, against this Buffalo team, I think it's 2 things. Again, be mindful of the fact that while they are young over there, they got some pretty good young pups. And any of them can be a problem for us if they want to be. But none of them can be a problem if we keep their ass on the sideline for the majority of the game and our red zone defense does what our red zone defense does. And again, I have been so impressed with what Aaron Glenn has been able to do with players that are literally walking off the street to come play for us. And there's one player that I know some people are going to say, I'm just doing this because it's a headline. But I would love to see Detroit reach out to Ndamukong Suh. And here's the case that I'm making for this. Ndamukong Suh, the last few years, if you notice, he doesn't play football in September or October or November. He waits to see who is a playoff contender, who's got a Super Bowl ready roster, and then he signs and comes in, and whatever team he signs to, generally speaking, goes pretty far. And I'm looking at it like Aleem McNeil and DJ Reader, they got it. But you add Suh to that mix, and then think about it like this, okay? You add Suh, then you get Hutchinson back, and you also have the other gentleman that we just brought in from Minnesota. I mean, that's a dangerous defensive line. That is a scary situation for whoever we end up facing. But again, Ndamukong Suh, as far as I know, we have not reached out to him since he left Detroit. And I have to imagine at some point he's going to be somebody that the Lions are going to want back around the organization. And I'm sure he would probably take that phone call if they called him. Because again, we are a
He's always here. He actually still owns property in the Michigan area, primarily Birmingham.
Right.
He's here a lot more than what people would think.
So my point is, reach out. Now, I understand there's going to be some people that say, we don't want that because that's a distraction. But I don't think it's a distraction. I think it's adding a very good interior defensive lineman who can strike fear in the hearts of the quarterback still. So I want to add that to our conversation.
Okay.
About that addition, because again, we're bringing in guys who are veterans like Jamal Adams and Quan Alexander. So why not reach out to Ndamukong Suh? Bobby?
Not a fan, but I carry on because I no. Because ain't no guarantee he can do what you say he can do anymore. That's pretty much it. Ain't no guarantee that he can do all that stuff he used to do. And he played in a long time.
But even if he can do half of what he used to do, you wouldn't take that?
Nope.
Okay.
Let it cook how it been cooking. Well, they don't need to add. They need to just keep doing what they've been doing. I'm not a fan of Suh. Suh, the days has passed. That's pretty much it with me.
I'm going to check on something, but while I check on this.
When the last time he played? He ain't played in like 2 years. So.
Let me see what the last year was.
That's going to be the biggest key is going to be him not being in actual game shape. So
he ain't played in 2 years.
Last time he played was 2022 with Philadelphia.
Right. So that's
3 years.
So what you have to look at is this. The guys that we brought in were already on active roster. They've played this year, meaning they're in actual game shape. Darius Smith, remember, the only day he had off was when Dan Campbell gave him one. Jamal Adams was on the active roster. He's played this year. He's played last year. We're talking about a guy who has not played. Now, regardless of what his walk around shape is, compared to us, 100% he's in shape. But when you're talking about actual football shape, actual football conditioning, we don't know what he's been doing. We don't know. I mean, you just got to think about it. He hasn't been seen around any practice facilities. So we don't know if he's he's making babies. He's doing his own little podcast. So we don't know if he's actually still weightlifting. Is he still doing cardio? In his mind, has he been, because he's a football player. So has he truly been saying, hey, somebody's going to call me, so I'm going to be in football shape? Waiting for that call. So yes, the name itself sounds good. Yes, it would be, the city would love it. Great story, blah, blah, blah. For what everything Suh was and what Suh did. Would I like to see it? Yes. Do I think we should? No.
I guess what I'm saying, Nate, and this is where I'm coming from, and maybe Bobby probably won't agree with me on this, but I'll throw this out there anyway. I'm saying make the call. I'm saying make the call, bring him in for a meeting, see where he is, and then go from there. Because what do you have to lose? You're probably taking meetings with a whole bunch of people, given how many injuries we've had on that defense. And again, if you take the meeting and all it ends up being is, hey guys, I really appreciate the offer, but I'm 37. I haven't played in 2 years. I'm done. Okay, well then what does that lead to potentially? I don't know. Maybe that leads to him being around the Lions a little bit more. Because again, he was a pretty big player for us when he was here, and things ended kind of not in a great way. Not because he was a dick, but because the organization made an ignorant choice.
Tom LaLonde fucked it up. Martha tried to fix it, but at that point, what was done was already done. Now, what you still have to look at is that the way Brad Holmes works.
Yeah.
And the way Dan Campbell works. Yeah, he embodies grit, his knowledge, all that. But if the Lions are going to reach out I think they would have already reached out. But what you've noticed, what they've done with the defensive line additions, they've looked at other teams' practice squads because they're getting reps. They're in that game shape. We don't have a month to let you get ready, let you get football shape, let you get your wind up, all this. Yeah, we know what he was. I'm pretty sure he can do something. His name alone is going to, put some of these offensive linemen on their heels because of who he was. Now, again, you're still going to talk about production. And so with that, it's very, very sketchy. Because again, so it's like, yeah, would we like to see him, around the Lions because he was part of that abysmal, situation we had. He was a part of the winning situation that we had in 2011, 2014. He was a part of that as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're a diehard fan like we are, you want Sue to get his just due. You would love to see him retire as a Lion. We drafted him. All his progress, all his accolades, all that came because of what he did with the Lions jersey. But we have to be realistic and look at the way Brad Holmes does things. And I think that is probably nowhere near his mind. That's probably next to him watching The Wiz tomorrow. Nowhere near his mind.
But like I said, that's something that popped up in the back of my head. The other day I said, with us going out here and getting all these different people, I wonder if it would be worth it to make that phone call, bring them into the facility, have that conversation with them, see what's up, see what's shaking with Ndamukong Suh. And again, if he's like, hey, I'm not interested, I just want to be, I want to be retired. Okay, no harm done. All you did was take a meeting. It's not like a pre-draft visit where you're only allowed a certain amount of meetings. Like you can have as many as you want, I'm just saying that if you're looking at his history, the last couple of years when he was playing, he would wait till right around
A couple
now.
is 2. He ain't played in 3. Man, let him go.
Okay, but I'm just
Let that
saying,
man stay
look at the
retired.
last few years of his playing career, when he would make a decision to play for somebody, it would be right around now. And the only thing I disagree with Nate on is, Nate was talking about us looking for defensive line help. We haven't, as far as I know, we haven't really been dealing with defensive tackle injuries. We've been dealing with defensive end injuries. And so now that we are having D-tackle injuries, that's why I brought up Ndamukong Suh, because I would never put Suh as an edge rusher. He's an interior defensive lineman, but I'm just a little concerned because Alim McNeill now, the last 2 weeks, he's been kind of banged up. And granted, they were playing a lot of games in a very short time span, so maybe Alim is going to be fine. But I'm just saying, last 2 games,
Forget, though,
that head issues.
Remember, Ozarike is a D tackle. We just moved him to the outside. John Kaminsky, same thing with Kaminsky, D tackle. We moved him to the outside. So we've been dealing with those issues. Pat Connor is a defensive end. He's a 4-3 end. We just moved him to the inside. Now granted, the Lions did lose Bohannon, who played good last year, who was signed off of their practice squad.
Okay.
Roderick Martin, who's been in and out because of injuries at the D tackle. So again, we've been through those. They've just shuffled around guys to make it as not apparent as it is.
Okay.
Our rush defense has still been good, and everything else. So you're really not catching it. But we've been through as many we've actually had more defensive tackle injuries than at any other position. We just field guys. So the way that they have been drafting, they've been drafting guys that are defensive ends, but have the ability to swing inside. So it doesn't seem as bad as it is. But it's been bad. We've lost more defensive tackles than defensive ends.
But again, like I said, that's why I brought that up, because I was like, well, if you're going to call veteran leaders, that's somebody you could call. And as Nate said, he's in the city. He's in the city quite a bit, more often than people might think. So again, if all that comes out of that is he's back around the organization a bit more, I think that's good. Can't really go wrong with that, in my opinion, because I don't think he did anything to deserve to be, left out in the cold as far as Lions are concerned. But like I said, I get where Bobby's coming from too. You got a defensive tackle who hasn't played in 2 years, and you don't want to bring somebody in who can't play, or can't play very well, and now you're wasting a roster spot for somebody. But like I said, I think about if the situation was good and he could even do half of what he did before, you got him, Za'Darius, Hutchinson, McNeil, and Reader. I like that defensive line heading into the playoffs. Like, that gives me confidence heading into the playoffs. But I also, like I said before, I love the job that AG is doing. I really do. I think Aaron Glenn should be coordinator of the year. I realize that's probably going to go to an offensive coordinator, maybe even Ben Johnson. But man, what Aaron Glenn has been able to do with nothing, and I don't mean that as an insult to the players. I'm saying that any other person would crumble given the type of pressure that Glenn has had. And he has stood up to that pressure and said, all right, next man up. And it's not next man up, but there's a huge talent drop off. It's next man up, and he makes sure whoever's in that spot, you're going to be put in positions to win. Now I will say against the Packers, I was a little bit concerned because they came out there first and they were suffocating. And then all of a sudden we got leaky real quick. And so that was a little bit of a concern. And that's another reason why with Buffalo, we got to keep Josh Allen on the sideline, which means we got to sustain drives. We got to end drives with touchdowns. And again, I believe Jameer and David have got to have a big, big outing. And defensively, stop James Cook. And yeah, Josh Allen's going to do some Superman shit because that's what he does. But it ain't going to be enough to win the game, in my humble opinion. Because if you look at the Rams secondary versus our secondary, I like our secondary better.
Oh, yeah, but Miles.
So, but I do want to get Bobby back in here because he hasn't talked in a minute. So, Bobby, any other thoughts on this game here, my friend, as we start to wind things down?
Yeah, like shoot, if you're gonna be the champions, ain't no pulling no punches, We don't want no doors to be open easily for us. We control our own destiny. And the best way to keep it that way is winning. The team that we want to be has to be able to beat Buffalo, has to be able to beat every team. It's important that we win because this is what we're gonna be remembered for. This is the team. This is probably the best team we played all year. So we've been bullying up on people. We've been running the score up on people. All right, now we've been bullies. Now here come a bully. Let's see what we're gonna do. And I expecting us to win, of course, but I'm not. Maybe the Lions done spoiled me where I feel like, shoot, I don't care who we play, we better win. Maybe I'm to that part of it. So I'm can't wait to see what we got because you don't know what you got till you play these teams like this, and Buffalo is definitely one. There's a lot of stuff at stake because Buffalo, they might have already lost the number 1 seed, but they don't want to lose that number 2 seed. They got to keep winning because Pittsburgh is on their back too.
Yeah.
So they got something to lose. We got something to lose. Let's see how the chips fall. To be honest, what you think, Nate? Drop some more on there.
Man, I mean, I'm with you, man. Everything you said, it is what it is, man. Like I say, we're no longer the team that is hunting everybody else. We are the hunted. Like you say, the corner for Minnesota. He said, I'm tired of hearing about them Lions.
Yeah, he's a hater, though. I heard that.
Guess what? We got to play.
Yeah, hater.
But the crazy part is that all these teams have to come through here.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah, we can't quote him, Nate. He's a fucking bum.
I don't know where Nate just went, but Nate just
his signal froze up. And that's good because we can't be quoting them haters, man. I heard that shit he said too. I was like, man, what They don't even talk about us a lot like that.
Bobby,
He said,
Bobby hit the eject button on Nate.
yeah, I might have subconsciously did that shit because fuck, dude. I heard
Quick,
that stuff. I was like, they always now all these people taking shots, Tucker Craft talking junk. All these dudes, they ain't nothing but haters, man. Fuck all of them. And this whole division can go to hell because they was crying about Caleb Williams jumping in and out of bounds, and Campbell said hit him. Then I heard they was talking about a bounty, and then I got beef with all the teams in the division, ironically. And then I got beef with Minnesota and that kid talking that junk now. Like, dude, who are you? I never even heard of him until he made this comment, and I forgot his name so quick. When Nate brought it up, I said, "Oh no, hell no, he's a hater, no." And then I got beef with Packer fans too. You see, I'm talking this big shit because my wife is at work. But anyway, but look, though, I can get some shit off my chest. Look, I got beef with these damn Packer fans because they talk about Jared Goff took a knee when he handed the ball off to Montgomery. What is that shit, man? Come on, now they come on, man. We Lions fans at their worst was never talking about falling on the handoff was a knee. You know what I mean? We done took our share of ass whoopings and defended our team. But we ain't never said the man took a knee trying to hand the ball off.
So I thought this was going to be called episode 82, but very clearly it needs to be called episode I Got Beef.
Bobby Bryce. The NFC North, they talk about this is the most competitive division. This is the most haters in one damn division. That's all it is. And they all like jealous of the Lions because we've been the bottom of the division now. Now we've been good for 2 years. Now they tired of hearing about us.
Bobby, can you do me a favor though? Okay, can you do me a favor? I think it's important that we reach across the aisle in moments like this and say something nice about our divisional opponent. So can you tell us one thing that you like about the Chicago Bears?
Shoot, I like how they perform in big moments. I love that. I mean, I love how during Hail Marys, the damn player fucking with the fans. That's beautiful. You can't teach that. Right. I love that, and I love Eberflus. You know he take timeouts home. Fuck it. He saved him for the next game.
He's got those rollover timeouts.
Yeah, rollover timeouts. Yep.
And how you don't even have to play overtime, just get to overtime.
Man, listen, man.
Overtime, you just run out of gas.
Dude, hey, he might have outcoached Campbell on that game. When Campbell couldn't did it better than that. And and Teddy Bruschi. I got beef with Teddy Bruschi too. He on damn national TV talking about I could play with Dan Campbell, but I don't want him coaching on my sideline. You're not a coach. He will never coach on your sideline to start off with. And secondly, the reason, man, listen, it's the George Costanza. You ever watch Seinfeld? I know you heard the TV show.
I have not.
Okay. One of his friends was George Costanza, and he had epiphany saying, if everything I do is the wrong thing, I'll start doing the opposite of what I want to do, and it'll start being the right thing. So I said that to say this. If we've been kicking field goals and letting Aaron Rodgers throw Hail Marys to win the fucking game and shit, and all we got to do is go for it on a few inches and stuff, get off the man back. We didn't need 10 yards on fourth down. We needed inches on fourth down. Inches. Not like half the field, he's throwing Hail Marys on fourth down, dude. Stop acting like that was a big leap of faith in the team. You know what I mean? If we Super Bowl contenders, of course the coach got to believe we can get some inches on the when the game count. Mm-hmm. So that's not like this is my hot take. Dan Campbell going for it on 4th down is not a hot take. Okay, it's not. So I'm tired of that. And then everybody making it seem like he's some kind of Madden football coach. He coaching this. He telling them during the week, hey, when it's 4th and 3 or shorter, we going for the ball. So the only people surprised is everybody that wasn't at the practice when he was telling them. Were you at the practice, Elijah?
I was not at the practice, Bobby.
Were you surprised when we went for it?
I was like, okay, here we go.
Okay, so you wasn't shocked because the man had done that before, right?
Right.
Now, I can say this is how upfront I'm gonna be with it. I have said, Dan, don't go for it. But damn, I have also there's been so many Detroit Lions teams that have done what I wanted them to do and still end up mad as hell at the end. This time it's do the opposite of what I say, Dan. It's the George Costanza theory. That's all it is. And as far as my beef, I'm done with beefing with everybody else. I can't think of nothing else, but it'll happen. As the week goes on, somebody else will fall in my beef. But Teddy Bruschi is a lame. He's a hater. I don't like him. And Tucker Kraft too. I can't leave him off. Tucker Kraft hate on Kirby Joseph so hard. It don't make no sense. He talking about, he done took out all of my brothers and all. Like, dude, they got hurt playing football. He didn't go Tanya Harding them at the car, met him in the parking lot to hit him in the leg and nothing, did he? He hit him playing football, right? It would make you think that Kirby Joseph some kind of hitman or something. Mm-hmm. They needed he making them pay the price from going across the middle, and then Tucker Kraft. When we lost, obviously he was devastated, and I was glad he was devastated. And Kirby Joseph was in his face like, I don't know nothing about no Kraft cheese and nothing. And I like Tucker Kraft. I almost cut him off my fantasy team because of this carrying on, but I let him stay. Because he don't.
Him and his family really appreciate.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be all the way 100 with you, Elijah. I am not a fan of the big talking don't do nothing, but he don't play Detroit every week. I'm not a fan of how he conducted himself this week, so I'm gonna let bygones be bygones and keep him on the team. But if we play them again, he just got to be quiet.
I mean, I feel like I just went to church. Like I feel like I need to bring out, and all God's people said.
I felt like this was a safe place. I felt like this was a safe place, so I went on ahead and let it all out, Elijah.
So same time next week.
If need be, I will let you know.
Okay, all right, and next week, we will have to work out the copay. Okay.
I have no problem. I have no problem with the damn hater of the week. I can find them. They've been hating so bad, might need a couple. It might be an honorable mention the way they've been hating. So I can find one for sure.
I get it. Score prediction against Buffalo.
Man, I kind of see it being almost similar to what the Rams was in their score was. But really? Yeah, I do, because our offense is high powered. I see it as being better than the Rams. And but I also see that our defense is lacking, because to be honest, I'm a golf fan, but I think Jared Allen is probably MVP if we had to vote today. So I think
Allen, you mean?
Yeah, Josh. Oh, Jared Allen, that's the Minnesota. I like him. That's Minnesota dude. I like him. But anyway, Jared Allen, I like him to be for MVP. So I want to see us stop the MVP. So stop the MVP. So I got the score around 35, 38 Lions. But our boy Jake Bates that I also mentioned that I got behind for in the summertime, kicking these long old field goals. He's still doing his thing. I see a walk-off field goal. Normally I would like to victory formation, but it's gonna be a walk-off field goal, something like that.
I'm gonna do something I've never done before on this show. I am going to not pick a winner of the game. And instead, I'm going to go straight points. I think the first team to 28 wins the game. First team to 28. It's going to be a race. Who can get there first? You score 28, your night's going to be great. If you don't, you're going to go home and go, what the hell just happened? But again, Lions, I think they're going to have a ton of energy in that stadium. I think it's going to be sold out, max capacity, standing room only. People waiting out on the sidewalk, trying to hear the results on their phone, listening to the radio broadcast. Like, it's good. Basically, if you want to go and try to have a great deal somewhere at a shopping mart in Detroit, you can do it between the hours of 4:25 and 7, because ain't nobody going. No one's going to be at the store. Okay, but again. I think there's going to be a lot of energy. They're wearing the black uniforms. This is going to be a huge, huge game. And again, I think first team to 28 is going to win it. But again, my keys to the game, you keep Josh Allen on that sideline for as long as you possibly can. You shut James Cook down. Make Josh Allen have to be Superman. And then watch our secondary come through in a really big way. Because again, we have one of the better secondaries in the league. I don't think people give us enough credit for that. People are giving us credit for our safeties, but they don't seem to give us that same credit when it comes to our actual corners.
Davis is good.
Davis is good. Arnold's been pretty good for a rookie. You know, he's got penalty issues, but again, our secondary, I think, can handle it if we can shut their running game down.
Arnold needs some work, but Davis a beast.
So, like I said, first team to 28, that's what I got. We don't have Nate Rucker popping back in, so I think maybe his phone died, which I think is like 3 weeks in a row that his phone has died, 3 episodes in a row. So I don't know on that one, but I do want to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Bobby, any final thoughts?
No, man. I'm off this weekend. Thank God. This is one of the days that I used as a vacation day when the schedule came out. So it's just only fitting that these boys is like Super Bowl matchup or a preview, as they say. That'd be nice, but I don't got Buffalo going to the Super Bowl. But it would be nice to beat them, though.
All right. Well, for myself, for the number one Lions fan, you know, Mr. Bobby Bless, for Nate Rucker,
Nate gone.
And Reggie Funches, I do want to say, drink your milk, my friends. Drink your milk.
It's important. You full of shit.
Also, hey, be good to yourself, be good to others.